Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. So I'm here to do the tutorial for the Authentique Frontier book that I did. This is the one that I put the little pigtails on the side of the book as the closure. I do have a walkthrough video for this. It's a really super cute one. So I use, like I said, Authentique Frontier, and I use some seam bindings. All items, including the glue, came from countrycraftcreations.com. So I'm going to show you how to do the basic page. It's a little bit different. I didn't want to do a pocket page, so I just did some flaps and stuff. So I will show you how to do that. I'm going to try to keep this video fairly short, which, you know, I have yet to do that. So let's get started. So for the pages, I have 4 pages. What we need to do is go ahead and cut 4 pages. They are 4 by 12. So let's do it. Okay, so 4 by 12, you need 4 of them. So I'm using the artisan cardstock, and this is the cream color, like the linen. So it should be 4. This one should be 4. And then I just need 1 more. Okay. So there's that. You are going to need your spine. So I'm going to use the hidden hinge. Why is that so much bigger? Hold on 1 second. This piece, yeah, I don't know why it was just a little bit bigger, but it was. That means one of them is probably just a little bit shorter. Anyway, so I'm going to use the hidden hinge just because I'm used to that one and I can do it quickly. You can use whatever binding system you want. So these are our 4 pieces that are 4 by 12. You're going to score them at 6. Because we're just going to, you know, they're just going to be folded in half. Let's go ahead and score them at 6. You can use your scoreboard. You can use your paper trimmer. For this, I'm just going to use my paper trimmer because it's out. Just make sure you use the correct blade. Okay, so there's that. So I think what I'm going to do in this tutorial, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to cut everything first so we can just get that out of the way. Next, you need a flap that is 4 1/4 by 6. Where's that 4 1/2 by 6? Hold on. Look, we already got the wrong measurements. We are making this right hand flap right here. So let me tell you what this measurement really is. It is, yeah, I guess it is 4 1/4. Okay. By 6. So let me cut, everything's going to be by 6 or just a hair under. So 4 1/4 by 6, and that is scored at 1/2 inch on the short side. So see, this is your 4 1/4, and I just scored it at 1/2. Let me write that down so I can put it in the instructions. Scored 1/2 on short. Okay. So I'm just going to round out here. This is our page 1. Okay, page 1 flap. And then page 2 flap is 4 1/4 by 3. So let me do this measurement here. So I'm going to cut this down to 3. And I'm going to do 4 1/4 because I need 2 of them. So 4 1/4, which that didn't work out. Oopsies. Oh well. So 2 4 1/4 by 3, and on the long side we're going to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch. I try to make all of my score marks 1/2 inch. It just makes it easier for me. Yep. So we're making these 2 flaps right here where my thumb is. So you need 2 at 4 1/4 by 3. Oh man, all my tags are falling out. Okay, I'll figure it out later. Okay, so score them both at 1/2 inch on the long side. So pencil. Score long side, 1/2. Okay, so these are page 2. You can put a clip on them or whatever you want. Okay, page 3, you need another 4 1/4 by 6. That's what I meant to do. I meant to cut them all, those ones at the same time. Okay, and that one is going to be the same. Score it 1/2 on the short side. So this was page 3. And I write in the middle because you're going to cover it with paper anyway, so you might as well just cover it up. Okay, so page 3. I think I just did another flap. Yeah, okay. Okay, page 4 is the waterfall. So the waterfall is a little bit of cutting. Here's the waterfall right here. So we have a few pages to cut. So you need 7 pages at 3 by 3 7/8. So I think I'm trying to keep track of how many pages I use, how many cardstocks. This is my 3rd one I'm on. I think it's because I could have cut my other one better, but okay. So we need 3 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to cut it at 3. Actually, you know what? I should probably score first. Where do I score at? It'll be easier to score and then cut on the waterfall, I think. So let me see. So I need to cut the 3 7/8 first. I'm trying to, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do the scoring later. I can't think right now. Okay, so I said 3 3 7/8. Okay, so 3 7/8. This paper's so thick, I always think I grabbed 2 sheets. By 3. And then you're going to score them because you need to have your 1/2 inch. I did 1/2 inch on mine. So, yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my scoring and everything at the same time. So I'm going to score, because you're going to score, you know what, let me not do that. That's going to confuse you. Okay. 3 7/8 by 3. So 1, 2, 3, and let me try 4. I need a new blade, and I just haven't gotten around to changing the blade out. Okay. So there's 4. And then okay, so 3 7/8 by 3. That's 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So in each of these, we are going to score on the short side at a 1/2 inch. So put the 3-inch side in your paper trimmer or your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 1/2. All 7 pieces. Okay. Almost done. So this one, really, this book, it's a wow factor, but any level can follow this book. I told myself for like the next, my next design team projects, remember a couple projects ago, that I was going to do it for people who are either just starting out or people that have been doing it for years. So I hope that that's what, you know, you guys have enjoyed them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's the waterfall. We went ahead and scored them. I'm going to clip the waterfall. Next, you need your waterfall piece right here. This you can use scraps, whatever you want. I just used a scrap that I had, but it was actually from a different project. But it just needs to be, mine is 2 by 5 scored at a 1/2. So I'm just going to keep with that measurement. So I'm going to go by 5, oops, and then 2, and I'm going to score that at a 1/2. Did I do a 1/2? I guess so. So that way when you fold it over, you're going to glue that in your book, and then this comes up to be this piece right here. So it would be like this. Okay. I'm going to keep that with the waterfall so I know what the heck that is. Okay. Page 5, you need a 5 by 3 pocket. Nope. So I think I just cut my paper like all types of weird. I could have saved paper, but that's okay. So 5 by 3, so this is the 5 by 3. You're going to score at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides, 2 short, 1 long, because you're making a pocket. So like that. This is a pocket, so we're going to go ahead and miter the corners. You're just going to chop right in that X on both sides, so you have something that looks like this. That's page 5. And that looks like what? That's this pocket right here. Okay. Okay, chugging right along. Next we have page 6, and that is a 4 by 5.78, 2 of them. I guess I didn't do 2, but I mean this could have been one of those, but that's okay. So we used what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sheets of paper for this album. I probably could have used 3 if I would have cut it correctly, but that's okay. Okay. And like all these little pieces, wherever I just threw them, you can use them to back your tags or whatever. That's what I use mine. So you'll use 4 sheets of paper. Okay, so 4 by 5 7/8. So I'm going to do the 5 7/8 first, just so I have a nice big piece of paper left over that I can use for the back of my tags. And then by 4, I just need 2 pieces. 1 and 2. And these, I think they do get scored at, let's see, these are these 2 flaps here, so they need to get scored on the short side at a 1/2 inch. It's that flap and that flap. I think I put too many tags and whatnot. They keep flying out. Of course, when I'm not on camera, they don't fly out, but when you're on camera, everything flies out. So we're going to score these at a 1/2 inch right here, 1/2 and 1/2. Okay. Those are all the pages, all the flips and flaps and whatnots. You need to do, oh, you know what we need that big piece for? This is for our hinge. Almost forgot. So I'm going to make this 6 inches because that's what our book is. And to be honest, I don't know how long you need it. So this is, let me get my scoreboard because I cannot do the hand. I mean, I could do it with the paper trimmer, but it's easier with the scoreboard. So I got my scoreboard here. Okay. And I like the 1/4 inch on either side of my what do you call this? My hinge. I think it looks super cute to have that little tiny bit of red peeping out right there, even though I covered the back of the book with blue paper. Sorry about my camera jumping. So I like that little extra border on either side. If you don't like it, then don't do the 1/4 inch. I like it, so I'm going to do it. So I'm going to score my, now for those of you who already know how to do the hidden hinge, fast forward, because this is just something new, or unless you're making it along with me, then you can do it along with me. So I'm going at 1 1/4, and then 1 1/2. Okay. And then I'm going at 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2, and I'm going to stop right here because I need to count how many hinges I have. So I have 1, skip a space, 2, skip a space, 3. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to 6, 6 1/2, 7. And that's okay, so that's 4 hinges and I need a 1/4. So after the 7, I'm going to 7 1/4. Okay, so those measurements again are 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/4. Okay, because that gives you your little 1/4 inch. So how I'm counting them, I'm going, okay, for each hinge, you need to have an inch of paper basically. So I'm counting 2, skip a space, that's your gusset. 2, skip a space, that's your gusset. So that's 1, 2, 3. All right, I just gave you the wrong measurement. 1, skip a space, 2, skip a space, 3, skip a space, 4. No, you're right. Okay, we're good. Sorry, we're good. Okay, don't cut that extra off just yet because I just need to make sure. Let me fold this up and make sure this is right. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to fold that 1/4 inch in, and then you're going to take your first 1/2 inch and you're going to mountain it. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay, y'all get that? And then you're going to make this next one a valley. So you should have something that looks like this. And for me, it's easier to go on the hinges, so I go 2 mountains, skip a space, 2 mountain, skip a space. And then it'll just kind of fall into place. Okay. Tammy has a great tutorial on this where she goes a lot slower. I've done it a few times for you guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Because I think you guys got it. So I have 4 hinges that need to be glued, and then this is my quarter. So I have plenty over here that I just need to chop off, but I just wanted to make sure I had 4 hinges before I chopped it. This is how you can determine how many pages you want, because you know, if you keep going, you can just make a bigger hinge and have more pages, but I chose only to have 4 pages because it has so many interactions that 4 pages looks like a massive book, and it's really only 4 base pages. So I'm just gonna fold this back on itself and see how much I need to trim off. If you trim too much off, it doesn't matter, because this is just extra that I like to wrap around the back to give it a little bit more stability. I do like to do this with paper trimmer so that way it's straight. I'm not really well cutting a large area with scissors like that. Okay. I'm going to use glue. Look at this. I'm almost out. Thankfully, I have another one right here. Okay, I'm just going to use the other one because I don't know where my needle is, and I left the thing off that. You can put score tape here, it doesn't matter. Actually, for time's sake, I might use score tape. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to use score tape because you have to hold this for a second, and I'm just trying to get it done for the video. Okay, let's just pull out the score tape. Let's do it. I know some people like to have their hinges, they'll make, you know, several of these hinges just to have lying around, like they'll make them ahead of time. And if you need one that's like 6 inches long or 8 inches or whatever, they'll do several different heights, so when they're ready to make their album, they have them done. I don't mind doing them now. One lady on, I don't know what I was watching she was on, but she actually just sells the hinge. She makes the hinges. You tell her what color and what size, and that's what she does. She has like a license thing for it or something. I don't know. Okay, but that would be working. You know, that would work out great. Like when I did those 18 sports scrapbooks for the kids at the youth center, that would have been nice to have somebody just, you know, create all the hinges so I didn't have to do it. Poor Miss Casey, I just was like, hey, guess what? We're going to make these scrapbooks. You're going to learn today. She did a great job, though. Very first time doing it, she jumped in and did it. Okay, so now I'm just going to tape this. It's just the back piece. And, oh yeah. Like I said, if, you know, if you are making this along with me, great. Or if you want to fast forward, I'm almost done with the hinge though, actually. Probably don't want to fast forward now. No, I'm just Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the backing off. You want to make sure there's no overhang. And make sure you get this 1/4 of an inch. If you forget about the 1/4 of an inch and you tape it to where there isn't a 1/4 of an inch, it's no big deal. You just won't have that extra border, which still looks gorgeous. Just, I like the extra border. Okay, you really want to varnish this in. Make sure you have good adhesion. Okay. And make sure I have my 1/4 of an inch. And I still cut that a little wonky. So I'm not going to put the tape all the way to the edge of this piece. Actually, no, I'm going to edge it to that piece. And then cut off the little piece that I did more wonky. Okay. And again, this back wrapping is not required, I should say, but to me it just gives it just a bit more stability. And you want your spine to be stable. So I'm just putting tape on. I was too lazy to get my bigger tape or my tape sheet, so I just haven't. This is where those 8.5 by 11 square tape sheets come in like handy. They're very handy. Okay, let's take all this off. It should, if you varnish correctly, it peels right off, but I obviously didn't varnish enough on that spot. Making sure there's no overhanging glue. On either side. Okay. And now we're going to make sure we have that 1/4 of an inch, and we're just going to pop it down. Should have did it a little bit at a time. That's okay. There we go. Okay. So whatever, since I just popped that down really weird, I'm just going to take my scissors to it and chop off any of the overhang. Okay. There we go. And just make sure that this is really stuck down. There we go. I mean, nobody would have ever seen this 16 of an inch sliver, but I knew it was there, so I chopped it off. Okay, so for your pages, you do want to use your score tape. I mean, your glue is going to take forever. So we need our base pages. These are our 4 by 12 scored at 6. Go ahead and line those up and varnish. We're not making a pocket, so this is that deviation I told you I did. These are actually your top flaps for your book. So no pocket page here, no pocket pull-ups. Yeah, I mean, you could turn this into a pocket page if you wanted to, but I just wanted something different. If you want yours to be a pocket page and not a flap, by all means glue 3 sides and you're good to go. Okay, so we have our 4 pages. What we're going to do is we are just going to add our page to the hinge just like this, and that's it. That's it, y'all. So you can, I'm going to put the score tape on here. What I'm going to do is I'm using the 1/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch score tape, and I'm putting it at the very top of my hinge. It's very important. If you have a 1/4 inch score tape, that will work as well. You just need to use that 1/4. So I am just going to put it here. And you only need it on one side. So if you start in the front like this, you only need it here, here, here. You don't need it on the other side. I mean, if you put it on both sides, it's okay because you're going to add paper to it anyway to cover it. So you just have a little extra stability if you worked faster than what I'm working. Okay, so here we go. Very important is at the top and not at the bottom. So when you attach your page, I put the hinge on top of the page. You want to make sure you do not go down to that score line. You want to leave that little bit of a gap so that way your pages can open. Because if you go all the way to the score line, it's going to be, it'll still open, but it'll be a little bit tight. And then you want to make sure you don't hit this top score line either, so that way your page can fold over nicely. To be fair, it's paper, so if you do get too close to that top score line, you just rescore it. It's okay. I think my paper is a little longer than 6. It is, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and if you want to do a little bit at a time and just peel a little bit at a time, go for it. So I like to turn mine like this, and not, I'm leaving like a 16th, smidge bit more than a 16th of an inch from that top score line, and I'm just lining it up with the 3/8 of an inch score tape. That's why I like 3/8 of an inch, because it only leaves like this tiny little slither. Left over. So I'm just super overthinking this right now, and lay it down. That's it. And you're going to burnish that on there. So there you go. That's your page. That's your super fun flip and flap right here. Super fun. Okay. So we're going to do this to the next one. And if you need a extra minute or two on your score tape, use a regular glue stick and rub it on that score tape, and it gives you an extra minute or two. I find that when I overthink it, I can't do it. So just making sure there's no overhang, lining it up as straight as I can get it, and I'm going to lay it down. Okay. There we go. And like this one, I got it way too close to that top line, but it still folds over, so we're fine. Okay, next one. This is going to be your most concentrating part of the whole album. The rest of it is not complicated. There's no score lines you have to watch out for. So that's why I feel this book is good for any level. Okay. See how easy that one went on because I just did it. And yeah, see this one? See how it's folded all weird because I actually got it on the score line so I could show you. It's okay. It is okay if you got it on the score line. All I'm going to do is manipulate my paper. I'm just going to push it over. Look at this. Problem fixed. No worries. It's just paper. Manipulate that paper. Okay. Last one, and then we're going to start doing our flips and flaps and funs. Make sure there's no overhang. I almost missed that one. And I think it was harder for me to do that page because I wanted to get it on that score line so you guys could see what I was on about. Okay, and I don't want it that close. You can put an 1/8 of an inch piece of score tape on the inside, like right here, so that way you know, hey, don't go on that 1/8 of an inch. You can do that if you want to. I don't think it's that serious though. Okay, come on. And the linen paper is pretty forgiving, so if you get it too close or it's not on straight like this one, you can kind of pull it up. If you tear the linen paper, it's okay. It easily goes back with just a little bit of wet glue because it's textured. So there we go. And then our flap goes here. So there we go. This one I did a little crooked, so I'm just going to match it with the bottom page and just make that score line. Actually, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's it. Those are the pages. We're going to go ahead and add the we are going to add the flips and flaps. So let's go back to our pile. So page 1, you're just going to fold and varnish that page. It's going to, your score line needs to be to the right. You're going to put score tape on the top and varnish that real quick. Again, you can use glue with this. This is page 1. You're gonna lift your flap, and let me make sure before I put this on. The flap is coming out to the right. So here's my score tape. I'm gonna line it up the best I can on this side here, and I probably should have did this to 5 7/8 instead of 6. I'm just going to trim a little bit off the bottom of this because the book is at 6. So I'm just taking, a little sliver off the bottom just so that way I don't have to be precise. Alright, just lining it up, not getting on that score line, and placing it down. Okay, that's it. So your page 1 has the flap and the flap. Okay, page 2 is the back, which is what? The 2 little door flaps on this side. So we need to get our 2 little door flaps. And same thing, we're just going to fold it over and varnish. Fold it over and varnish. There is going to be a gap. I like the gaps because I like to see sneak peeks of the paper. So depending on how big you want your gap, you can trim your paper or you can make these longer. Well, I guess at this point you can't make them longer if you were following me. Okay. So, taking the score tape off, no overhang, and how did I have them? The very top and at the very bottom. So I'm going to do the top one first. And it's going all the way to the top, all the way to the edge. There you go. And the next one, you can make your flaps go one opening this way, one opening that way if you want, but I just wanted both of mine opening the same way. And this has just like a tiny, tiny little gap. Probably shouldn't because they should have been by 6, but whatever. Okay, so there's that. If you want a bigger gap, you can just cut these before you put it down. You can do that. Your book. Okay, next one is going to be another right hand flap. So page 3. So again, this was our regular page, our base page, and then you're going to take your 4 1/4 by 6. Again, I'm going to chop off a little sliver on the bottom of this. I think it's about 1/8 of an inch. That one I probably just did a lot more because I wasn't really paying attention, but that's okay. And there we go. Tape on it. Again, I want mine opening to the right. So on the inside, I lifted my flap up. And I'm going to get this in here as best as I can. Whichever way you can see better, that's the way you want to go. I'm going to actually line mine up with the bottom, so that way I have that 1/8 of an inch at the top so it doesn't get in the way of my top flap. Okay, and down. And varnish, varnish, varnish. That's just how you get that good adhesion of the tape so it doesn't go off. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it could be humidity, it could be that. It could be, but it also could be that you're not varnishing. Okay, so that flap goes in, that one goes down. Page 4. Oh, I did this one really bad. Let me straighten this up. There we go, all fixed. Okay, page 4 I think was the waterfall. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, waterfall. Okay, so people do their waterfalls several different ways. You can follow me, or you can follow. Hold on, I'm just answering this text. Okay. This is how I do them. I think this is how Tammy does it too, maybe. I don't know. Somebody taught me how to do it this way. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my score tape on all 7 of my falls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I did use 7. Okay. I'm just putting tape on the waterfall. This album is pretty quick. It took me less than an hour to do it when I was coming up with it, so we're almost done. And I'm not going to show you guys how to cover chipboard or any of that. There's plenty of tutorials. I've done them pretty much with every other video. So if you need to know how to cover chipboard, please refer to one of my previous videos or to the many thousand videos on YouTube. I know the design team here, we've all done it at least once. So Tammy's done it several times, so I'm not going to do that part of it. Okay, so I'm just varnishing really well. Oh, and then my other little piece needs some tape as well. I don't think I used too many magnets. On this, I definitely used the magnet for the waterfall, and I used a magnet right here just because I wanted this little card to hang out right here. And all I did was add a little hinge to the card, and then I glued a second card on top of it. So I can, you guys should be able to, that should be okay. Yeah, you guys should be able to do that. I've done the hinges a million times too. All right, so I'm going to fold these and varnish. If anybody needs me to go over that little element that I just did, all I did, let me just tell you real fast. For this right here, all I did was take one of the 3x4 cards and I cut out a piece of the scrap paper. I scored it at 1/2 inch and cut it at 1 inch, so 1 inch by 4, and I glued just the 1/2 inch onto the card, and then I glued the other 1/2 inch onto the page, and then I put my magnet down, and then I glued this card on top of it, and my magnet's right here. So that's all I did. A quick hinge, nothing, no rocket science. Okay, let's get these down. And, oh, I just frayed my ball up. I don't know how I managed that. And yes, the seam binding catches on fire. I like the little burnt tips, so it does not bother me any. I don't know how I just managed to do this. You just have to be careful because when you blow it, those embers do go out and you don't want to catch anything on fire. Okay, there we go. Now mine's back to being burnt. I remember I trimmed it a little bit more. That's where they were able to fray. Okay, back to this. And okay. So okay, so page 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is just peel the backing off. Again, you can do a little bit or the whole thing, and you're just going to line it up with the top of the paper as best as you can. And sorry if my head's in camera, but I gotta see. Okay, lined it up, lay it down, burnish it. Get your next one. Take away the overhang, line it up, lay it down. If you gotta turn your book upside down, sideways, whatever you need to do so you can see, do that. Okay. Just using the previous page as your guide, you should be able to just make sure you don't put it upside down. I just almost put it upside down. So you're just basically butting up that mountain fold to the previous page. Okay. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Okay. Put that varnish in there. And then this one. Okay. So you can do waterfalls, any size waterfalls, any shape, just by following the previous page in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's one more. Now I just did that one super wonky, but that's okay. I like the 1/2 inch because I like to use my scraps of paper in the 1/2 inch between pages. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Okay, I did not do mine straight up. Where did I go wrong? Oh well. You know what? It's okay. It'll still be cute. I don't think I went straight on this one either. Oh, maybe I did. So when I'm talking about the 1/2 inch gaps are in between here, I love the 1/2 inch because you put your picture and then you have a little 1/2 inch and you have another page. So sometimes I do all the same, sometimes I do different. Just depends on what I want to do. Okay, so now for this piece, man, that's really going to bother me. Okay, so I'm going to try to take these up as gently as I can. Like I said, the linen paper is pretty forgiving if you take it up fairly quickly. Excuse me. Gosh. And yes, I am tearing it. I'm probably going to have to add more adhesive, but it was just way off. I don't know where I went wrong. These two. See, when you get to talking, but it's kind of good you guys can see this. It's this one right here. So the third one I went wrong. And like I said, the linen paper is very forgiving, so even though I just tore it up, if I just add glue, it'll be fine. I lost my glue needle somewhere. Hopefully it went in the trash and not the floor. But, you know, I'll find it in my foot if it went on the floor. You know how that goes. Okay. There we go. This was the culprit. I put this one on wrong and it made all the other ones wrong. That's why you should always line it up to the left side. So that way you know they're all straight. That's okay. So I love the linen paper because, like I said, even though I just tore it all up, it's still super strong. It'll be fine. I probably don't have to add more glue, but I am just because I want to. Just to ensure the stability. How about that? Some people use dry baby wipes. I just use this face cloth I got at Walmart for like 88 cents. Actually, I think I just took that out of my mom's house. So it was free for me. But it wasn't her good face cloths. It wasn't the ones that we use to like wash with. I know better than take those. I think I scored this one wrong. This one's just giving me a pain. It's not lining up. Whatever, it's good enough. And where's my last one? Okay. Okay, so I'm glad you guys got to see a blooper there so you could see how to fix it. So you see, don't worry, don't struggle over it, no stress. It's just paper. If all else failed, we could have ripped it all off and started all over, but we didn't need to. Just gently rip it. Now we're going to add our closure piece. So I'm just going to take the tape off and get rid of that overhang. And I'm just going to try to center it as best as I can. You can use your centering ruler if you want. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay. Like so. Super cute. This is where you want to add your magnets. It doesn't matter if you use a big or a small one, because you're just going to put it on that first page. If you're planning on using super heavy designer paper, then I would use either 2 small ones or a big one. Okay, that just flew way over there. So, yeah, okay. So I'm going to use 2. don't even know how I managed to do that. Special skills, I guess. I mean, it flew across the room. I heard it hit my window. So I'm just taking off the tape that comes with the magnets on one side. So there's two. You guys can see that. And then take it off the backing. Push it down and pull it up. There you go. Okay, there's that. And then the next page is the pocket, I believe. Yes, so we're going to do this pocket because the flap is already there. So we're going to take our page 5 pocket. You're going to do your score tape along the pocket. On these 3 1/2" score marks. We are chugging right along, people. Okay. Make sure we garnish that in. We're just going to fold that under, fold that back, fold that back. Okay. Peeling off the backs, make sure there's no overhang. I keep saying that because that's really important, because if you have overhang, it's going to snatch on everything and it's going to tear your pages and blah, blah, blah. So no overhang. Okay, I'm going to line the pocket up as best as I can on the bottom. I'm not going to, it's not going from side to side because I did it just slightly smaller than the page. And if you want to leave an 1/8 inch border underneath the pocket, you can do that. I love borders, so I'm doing that. And there we go. Varnish that, get in that pocket, and varnish that down. Go on the back and varnish it. Now that one you have to be careful you do not get on that score line, or else it's gonna your book's not gonna close. So I missed some adhesive on this corner right here. It's not laying down. You definitely want to make sure it's laying down. So just add some glue. I think I put way too much yet. Okay. Put a little clip, or you can hold it yourself. It doesn't matter. You want to make sure that pocket stays down. Okay, so the next page, I think is just a, this was this page here. Next is, on the left-hand side, we want to put these 2 pages there. Okay, I can't remember, how did I do this? Oh, I remember. Okay. All right, that should be dry. Let's move these clippies and this cloth. So I got that pocket too close to the score line. Oh well, it'll be fine. Okay, so on this page we're going to do these 2 flaps. The same thing, we are going to put our score tape on the 1/2 inch piece. That one, and 1/2 inch on this one. Okay. If you're using 1/4 inch score tape, put it down the middle. I just like using 3/8 because it almost covers the whole thing. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and just line it up to that left edge. And these ones are slightly smaller than the page, so I'm just leaving equal amount of room on top and bottom. So like that 1/16 of an inch on top and bottom. So you're going to put 1 page like so. And then the other page, it's going to be too big. Let me see how I did this. Did I leave the full 1/2 inch? I did. Okay, so this second page actually needs to be cut down to 4. It is at 4. I just need to trim a sliver of it off, and then it will fit. Okay. And again, I need a new blade, so mine stuttered on there. Okay, so I just cut off that tiny bit to make it fit and not touch that score line. It's easier to do it that way than try to guess what that measurement is. So I probably should have cut these papers 3 7/8 by 5 7/8, but that's fine. Okay. So those are your 2 flaps that you see right here. And then this page, we didn't do anything to it. In the back, we didn't do anything because I just left the picture here. So you are done constructing your book. And then all you have to do is take your chipboard pieces. I did 4 1/4. I think I did 4 1/4. Yeah, I did my chipboard 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 for the front and back, and then the spine I did 2 1/2. You're just going to measure whatever this is, and that's what you're going to do. So not 2 1/2. I'm sorry. I did 2 1/8. Probably I did 2 1/4. Sorry, I forgot because then I have the 1/8 of an inch. So yeah, so 2 1/2, 2 1/4 inch for my spine. 2 1/4 inches. Yeah, because that was just slightly bigger than my spine here. So 2 1/4 for my spine. Cover your. I took 2 pieces of the red paper and cut them at the 6 1/4 by 12. I taped them together and then covered my chipboard. Like I said, there's plenty of tutorials on that. So your book is done, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.